Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me again, joyfjrd, and for today's video, we're going to be discussing about the timeline for applying for a work permit or working visa in Canada. So I'm currently now in the Philippines. It's the 26th of the month, and I just uploaded our second video regarding our migration in Canada, which is why we choose Canada over Singapore. And since I still have some time left before I sleep, it's just a few minutes before midnight, but yeah, I decided to do another video to just share with you the timeline, how long we waited for our visa. I know a lot of you are praying, hoping. There's a lot of sleepless nights while you're waiting for the approval of your visa. I'm distracted by my glasses. Okay, let's just do it. Wait. Okay, is it better? Don't mind my eyebrows. Okay, but anyway, yeah, I know that a lot of you guys are experiencing sleepless nights because you've been waiting for the approval of your visa, and you're wondering how long would it really take. I cannot guarantee for sure the exact time, but what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you our own timeline while we are processing our work permit or work visa. So as I mentioned last time, we're couples from Singapore. My husband found a job, and we are last time we applied for EIPP, or Atlantic Immigration Program, but we've been moved by the program officer to another program, which is a provincial nominee, PNP. We've been transferred to provincial nominee program by the program officer, and then she mentioned that the timeline of processing the work permit for AIPP and the processing time of the work permit for PNP will be just about the same. So she guaranteed our employer that there won't be any lack of manpower, and the timeline will just be about the same. So our employer still supported us at the end of the day. And July 11, 2019, we applied our work visas online. Okay, so from Singapore, we applied online. We completed all the necessary requirements prior to making. Actually, you can make the online like the online application without you completing yet everything, because anyway it will show you in bullet form what are the things that you have to submit. So if you're still lacking one or two of the requirements, you can opt to just make a draft basically, so you upload one by one as you complete each requirement. So there's one requirement there, which is upfront medical. I think for online applications, it is a must to have it. But if you apply through VFS, there is an option to submit everything first and then wait for the government to ask you for your medical. So it's either you submit an upfront medical now, or they will ask for it later on. So for us, what we did was we do the medical upfront. So I feel like while we're doing it, we felt like there are advantages and disadvantages of submitting it up front and submitting it later on. If you submit it later on, you have something to look forward. You're going to be waiting for the request from them, so somehow the waiting time might be a bit shortened, because okay, for this span of time I'm waiting for the request, and for this span of time I'm waiting for their approval. Whereas for us, we skip the middle part, so from the time we submit, we're just waiting for the final result. So it's a bit of like there's a pros and cons basically. So whether you submit your application online or in VFS would be your choice. For us, we just since we're working, both of us are working, we just cannot go to VFS and liaise with them personally, and then I feel like it's quite a hassle for us because anyway our documents are prepared. But for those of you who are not very certain of your documents, because VFS is quite helpful as well, they have I think they're offering some services that would help you check your documents, fill up some forms, but of course with a fee. I mean, if you really need some help, then it's better, I guess, that you go to VFS. If not, if everything's prepared, and then if you feel like you can do it yourself, then I'd rather you do it online. So for us, we did it online. So we applied on the 11th. We received a biometric request the next morning. Basically, it's just a few hours because we applied on the 11th almost midnight. So going to the 12th of July. And then 12 in the morning, we received a biometric request. Straight away, we booked the appointment. And then, let me just check the dates. So, I'm very sure. So, let's look back. So, July 11 was a Thursday. 12th, we've got the request for biometrics. And then we called straight away, but just so happened that on the 15th, which is Monday, there's no available slots. So we got the slots on the 16th, which is a Tuesday. We go to the VFS to get our biometrics taken. Biometrics or VFS in Singapore is, I can only review based on what we've experienced. But so far, VFS Singapore has been very professional. They're also very helpful and polite and very systematic. So that's what I like about VFS Singapore. Yeah. So we went there on the 16th to get our biometrics taken, and basically the wait starts from there because after the biometric details pop up online, so there's no other updates. And then, so looking back at the dates, we applied on the 11th. So per my research, so I also did my research, like I tried to check how long does it normally take for people to get their work permit approvals up, and then some would be just a few days after their biometrics are taken. Some are just a few days after their their medical exam passed or something. But for us, it's just because our medical is there already, so it's just waiting for the final result. So it's really very stressful. So I really felt before how stressful it is to wait for the result of the work permit. But I mean, based on my research, going back, sorry, I'm getting out of track. So based on my research, they're a few days after their medicals or after their biometrics, but mostly would say that it will take, for example, if you applied on the 11th, the next month, just a few days after the 11th, then there will be the result. It's like a month or so, plus minus, about there. In Singapore, we met a couple. Actually, we didn't met them. We just knew them online, social media stuff. So what happened was the girl was approved exactly 4 weeks, and her husband or her partner, I'm not so sure, was approved about the same. It's literally 4 weeks after. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4 on the same day that they applied. So we feel like, okay, so if we apply on the 11th, we have to have it on the 11th of next month, plus minus. In my head, originally I was thinking that maybe it will come after our anniversary, because our anniversary was August 16th, but actually it did arrive on the 14th. 14th was 1, 2, 3, 4, just a day before the 5th week. So yeah, just a day before the 5th week. The 5th week was the 15th itself. So that's how long our process took. Now, do note that in our application, we actually missed to upload the second page of a certain form. Okay, so this one I think is very important for me to share, because I'm not so sure if it caused some delays. I think it didn't, but maybe, I mean, it could have caused some delays, but it doesn't really cause a big delay, because when I'm reading online, everyone feels like, don't use web form, it will delay your approval, it will blah 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 blah. Web forms are created for a reason, and if necessary, we really have to use it, to utilize it. So that's the biggest stress that happened to us. It's because I missed to upload the second page of a certain form that I should have touched. So it's really my mistake. Anyway, it's a matter of, you know, I feel like this second page is really very significant to our application. So it's either our application will get delayed if I use the web form, or our application might get rejected without this second page. So of course, I'll just go for the first option, which is delay rather than rejection, right? So I did use the web form twice. People might think she's so stupid to use it twice, you know. A lot of people will really make fuss of it if I mean, now that I'm saying it aloud, I feel like a lot of people will scrutinize me for using it twice. It's like, she's so stupid 2 times. I'm stupid, yes, but not twice. I mean, I use it twice. It's because my husband and my account are different. So when I sent it once, they replied to me and told me that I have to use it one more time for myself. So I need to put in another UCI, which is it's a serial number, basically. So yeah, I used it twice, and it might have caused delay. Our application might have been approved earlier than that, but yeah, my key point here is that do not be afraid to use web forms. It might cause a bit of delay, but it's not, the delay is the delay is worth it if it will be a very significant factor with your application. So anyway, I just felt that is a very significant information that I have to disclose to everyone. You have to use, if you have to use web form, by all means, please use it. Yeah, just saying. So it's best if you can submit everything one shot, but if you're quite stupid like me, then you might need to use it, then please use it. Now, every country where you applied might have different timelines. Every program you have applied for might have different timelines. So the one that I'm telling you is under work permit for provincial nominee. So if you want to check out the average processing timelines for the country where you're currently in, please do go to I actually typed cic.gc.ca, and then the most common questions. It's very long. It's canada.ca/en/immigration refugees blah blah blah. It's quite long, but yeah, you can just research it. Go to cic.gc.ca, then it will show you the most commonly asked questions. Then there is like a title there that says check processing times. You just have to click check processing times, then it will ask you here what are you applying for. So there will be temporary residence, for visitor, for study, for students, and for work. So it's either of those three. Then there's economic immigration, there's family sponsorship, refugees, humanitarian and compassionate cases, passport, citizenship, permanent resident cards, replacing or amending documents, verifying status. So for us, we went for temporary residence, which is working visa. And then which temporary residence are you applying for? So there's visitors from outside Canada, visitors visa from inside Canada, visitors extension, super visa, this is for parents and grandparents, study permit extension, work permit from outside Canada, work permit from inside Canada, work permit extension. Then there's international experience Canada, and electronic travel authorization. So in our case, we applied for work permit from outside Canada. And then where are you applying for? So for us, it's from Singapore. So let me try now. Again, today is the 26th of the month. Okay. So if you type Singapore there, currently the processing timeline is 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks, but actually ours, as I mentioned, was approved just the day before the 5th week. So let's try if it's from the Philippines. Sorry, no makeup on, so the eyes are super, and I just made my brow so it's very dark, so sorry about that. Okay, so work permit from outside Canada, Philippines is also 6 weeks, but I have a friend who was approved work permit less than 2 weeks, I think, or about 2 weeks. Yeah, but she's been to Canada for a few times before, so I think that might be a plus. She worked in Canada before, so let's put another country. What country is here? Portugal, Norway, North Korea. Okay, let's try Saudi, because I think there's a country. What's Saudi? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is it KSA? No. Or Dubai? What's Dubai? No. Italy, Japan. Say Japan. Let's try Japan. Japan is only 5 weeks. This is the average timeline for Japan. There's one country that I remember was quite long. If I'm not wrong, it's Saudi Arabia. Oh, there's Saudi Arabia here. So Saudi Arabia is 9 weeks. 9 weeks is like 2 months plus. So it's quite long. Dubai is what? Dubai is... I'm so stupid. Dubai. Okay, let's try Qatar. I'm just checking out. Okay, Qatar is very long. It's 27 weeks. So that will be... It's almost 7 months. So if you're from Qatar, just apply from the Philippines, I think. Yeah. It's just super long. That's 27 weeks. Taiwan. Did I try Taiwan? No, I haven't. Taiwan is 8 weeks. So yeah. You might be from Philippines, but if you're applying from other places, Thailand is 9 weeks. So, okay, UAE, United Arab is even longer. than Qatar. Qatar is 27 weeks, UAE is 32 weeks. So yeah, if you are from these countries, then might as well go back in the Philippines for a while and apply your work visas from the Philippines so that the timeline might be shorter and you can get to Canada faster. Alrighty, so that's it for today. So as I've promised, I'll be uploading more videos, more detailed videos on how we get our job, how do we process our forms and our application, how to create the cic.gc.ca like what do you call it, application. So I'm gonna do a more detailed video about that. Forgive me if it's taking quite long. I'm trying to also maximize my time with my family before we fly, and I'm also trying to download, like, for some reason my app for recording the screen is not working, so I'm finding another program, another application that I can use to record my screen. Yeah, so yeah, please be patient. I'll try my best to do it as soon as I can. So yeah, this is my room in the Philippines. Such a cute room, right? So cute, so small. But anyway, I'm gonna miss this room. Not that old. Anyway, so that's it for today. I hope that this video is helpful, and if you are generous enough, you can comment down below your own timeline. You can share your own timelines below so that it can be a reference for other people as well. I think it's very helpful. We've experienced it before ourselves. We've tried to be as stressed as them. So if you are generous enough, please do comment down below what have you applied for, the program you have applied for, and how long is your own waiting time. I think that will be very, very helpful, and people will appreciate it more, so that they can just scroll through and see all the details down there. If you are someone who is currently waiting for the approval of your work permit or your PR or whatever it is, so do not lose hope. I know it's hard to not get stressed out. It's normal. It's really stressful, and end of the day, we cannot do anything but wait. So just be hopeful and continue praying, and enjoy the process. I think it's a bit masochist to do because it's really very tough, but don't lose hope. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on my next vlog. Bye. My face is so puffy after I went back to Philippines for 2 weeks. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye.